Well, hello, everybody. How are we doing? I am Scott, and that is Aunt BB in mourning. Aunt BB in black. Aunt BB the black. She is in mourning deeply, deeply. Oh, no, no, baby, it's all right. Hang in there. Hang in there. Tough it out. Tough it out for the people, Aunt BB. The people need to hear from you. Aunt BB. Ah, ah,
Whoops.
that's good. That's it. What you just That's
I
actually.
gotta get out of this.
No, 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 no,
No.
no. Yeah, no, no, that's not.
Hang on.
You shouldn't have blown your nose through it, for God's sake. What are you doing? What are you
Are you
doing?
there?
I'm
Ah,
here. What are you doing?
okay. I pulled out my earphone accidentally. I had to plug it back in. It's hot in this thing.
All right, take it
Believe it
off.
or not.
Take it off.
But I'm
I'm not gonna make
lifting
you.
the veil.
I'm
I
not gonna
am
make you suffer.
lifting the veil.
I'm not gonna make you suffer for prop comedy.
Better? It's like a bag over the head. Better?
Hey, honey, do you mind wearing this over your head? So, peekaboo. So, Aunt BB, why? Tell the peeps why you're in mourning.
Oh, well, our beloved Queen of Canada, as she's known here, has gone to be thrown in the sky, I guess.
To the throne in the sky.
Yeah, she's the Queen of Canada. And what I always found interesting is that immigrants to Canada, when they take the oath of the citizenship oath of allegiance, so they're swearing allegiance to the Queen. Well, they were to the Queen and her heirs, not to the country Canada or no.
See, we haven't got to do that because we fought that whole Revolutionary War thing.
Yeah.
Everything else is the same. We're still an appendage of the fucking throne here in the United States, obviously. But the one thing we don't do is we don't have to swear allegiance to the Queen. We swear allegiance to the Constitution, and then we use the Constitution as toilet paper in the bathroom on the way out. But we don't have to swear allegiance to the Queen.
Well, another thing up here is there are actual Christian religious more holidays, Christian religious holidays that are statutory holidays here. Good Friday. Yeah, Good Friday.
That's Catholic.
Oh,
It's not Christian.
it's Church of England.
No.
Church of England.
Yes. Okay.
Which is basically Catholic rituals, really.
Yeah.
And the other one is Boxing Day, which I think originated really with the church, the charity boxes or whatever. Day after Christmas. Yeah.
So everyone goes into mourning for one day, right? I don't understand the royalty ritual. So everyone goes into mourning. The Queen is dead. Long live the Queen. So I mean, long live the King.
Queen Charles.
So the Queen is dead. Long live the drag king, Charles. How long does that process last between, oh my God, I'm in mourning, and yay, we have a new king? How long is that process? Like a day?
Well,
An
they
hour?
lowered the flags when she died. And I noticed yesterday that there were flags already back up. So I guess after the funeral's over, then they go back up or something. So after Monday. Yeah, because yesterday, Tuesday, I noticed, the flags are back up.
Are they doing that shit in Canada where if you hold up a white blank piece of paper, they come beat you up and arrest you?
No, that's new to me. No.
Have you seen that and
Yeah.
taking place? Yeah.
Not here. No, I've never
But
seen
in the UK.
Yeah.
What is the significance of a blank piece of paper?
It's just a token. I mean, instead of a protest sign with something written on it. So, the fact that you don't have to write anything in protest on the board or whatever, you just hold up a blank board.
I remember, like one of the first people that I know that there was a woman who was arrested for a blank piece of paper. And I think they got her ID from the cameras and all this shit, and they actually went to her house. And was it GCHQ, or whatever the hell that is? One of those came and went to her house, and then all of a sudden, and she was holding up a blank piece of paper.
This was in the
Now,
UK?
all of a sudden, yeah, that was about almost a week
Scotland
ago,
Yard
like
or something?
2 days after. It might have been Scotland Yard.
MI5 or something. Scotland Yard. I don't know.
It might have been one of those. It was definitely one of them.
Yeah.
So they came and got her, and then all of a sudden, next thing I know is there's a whole bunch of people holding up blank pieces of paper.
Yeah, I know. It surprised me.
So I thought maybe he was in solidarity with her and, opposing this.
The law is very, like the police now, there's some new law in the UK, and if they think that you're disturbing the peace or anything in any way, they can interpret any way they want. So if somebody's just protesting, you're disturbing the peace. I think that's how it works now.
Yeah. There's also, I saw a thing, I think this was on Twitter, saying we have fact checkers, and now, don't worry about it. They didn't kill the Queen to make a better transition for the World Economic Forum. And I'm like, has that already made it to the fucking fact checkers? Really?
I didn't realize that. But yeah, I mean, it was funny. So the day that she died, suddenly on the radio, I heard, the doctors are at her side attending to her, and the royal family is all rushing to her bedside. And I instantly said to Jake, husband Jake, I said, oh, they're knocking off the Queen today. And I just thought it was weird because I knew she had just received Liz Truss, the new prime minister, and she was fine. And I guess that was in London. And then suddenly she's in Scotland. Isn't that kind of interesting? They send her way up to Scotland, away from London. And she's suddenly, within a day or two, on her deathbed. There wasn't this gradual decline in health.
Did that happen outside the country? Did that happen away from the palace?
She was in Scotland and Balmoral Castle. Yeah, in Scotland. So I just thought that's
kind of like Dallas for the fucking for.
I mean, she was very old, but she should have lasted as long as Phil was 99.
How old was she died?
96, and her mother lived to be over 100, like almost 102, I think.
Listen, trust me, it's not that hard to live a long life if you have really, really good health care.
I know.
That platinum insurance that she had.
I know.
Literally a platinum card.
There wasn't this gradual decline in her health. She's suddenly on her deathbed, and I thought, well, that's strange.
I don't think, I wouldn't put it past Charles, to be honest with you. Now, or the people around him.
Yeah.
He's certainly going to be more aggressive in following the plan, the World Economic Forum plan. He was in December of 2021, he was out there talking about that we have to do this, and we have to take it with a military-style approach to transitioning these people. She wasn't. I don't think she was all on board with that. So, and that's another thing too, is I didn't realize she was someplace else. When they get them away from the people who are there to protect her round the clock, her regular people, and they take them someplace else, that's usually where shit happens. Like, say, Dallas, for instance. That's usually how that shit works. So I wouldn't be at all surprised.
Well, and the royal family, there is, I mean, historically in monarchies, they'll bump off a family member or whatever.
Sure.
But even in recent history, the Queen and her Governor General in Australia were involved in that CIA MI6 coup against Gough Whitlam, the Labour Prime Minister there.
Yep.
And then there were 2 coup attempts. The royal family was involved with the City of London banksters trying to take out another Labor Prime Minister, Harold Wilson, twice. And I think he gave up in the end because he got tired of it. They're just constantly coming after him.
Yep.
So
it wouldn't be out of the question. It wouldn't be out of the question.
No, I don't think so.
But
it's crazy to say that.
And you have to put yourself in his shoes. I mean, he's getting up there in age, and she just won't go. No. And so he's all his time that he imagined he would be, king when he was younger. He's just sitting around a nobody. People don't even take him seriously.
The royal tampon. That's what I always called him, the royal tampon.
Right. So I mean, he's not a king. He has no power, no real power. So I mean, I can imagine in his mind, people could have been whispering to him, if she was gone and she's getting older. But then again, I also have to put it this way. I mean, yeah, she was seemingly okay, but then again, so was Mom until that Sunday. And she was fine and dandy and up and about the house, and she laid down to take a nap and never woke up again. So, when you get to a certain age, you never can really tell. So whether you have the platinum insurance card or not.
Yeah, I just thought, I guess it was weird that she was in London, I'm sure, to receive this trust. And then suddenly she was in Scotland on her deathbed. So just kind of weird, all the timing of things. I don't know.
Okay.
So. Well, even I have to say, on Netflix, that series, The Crown, they even mentioned they only mentioned one of the coup attempts against Harold Wilson. So, even in mainstream media, this story is out there. It's not like this is.
Well, that's what the point I was making with the fact checkers already out there talking about this. Oh, no.
Yeah.
King Charles didn't knock off his mother. Who said he did? Really? I hadn't thought.
Oh, when I see that, I think, oh, they're listening. When I've said something, oh, they're listening.
All right. So what are we talking about today? We're talking about first thing we'll talk about is Rumble.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. I went ahead and said, fuck it. I'll sign up for Rumble. I'll get an account.
Did you ever try to, remember you signed up for Odyssey and you had issues. I think you tried to upload there once and I don't know. It's not very friendly, user-friendly or something.
But they might have worked the kinks. I remember when I was doing it was 2018 after my second fucking YouTube channel had been erased. And there had been a bit of a purge, but nowhere near what we're doing, what we're seeing now, the cancellations and the censorship.
There was an ambulance or something just went by here. Maybe
okay, good. So a lot of these things were still just getting off the ground, like Odyssey and I don't know if Rumble was around back then, but
no.
There was a couple.
Oh, and maybe it might have been. Yeah, sometimes they've been around for a while, but you don't hear about them.
Anyway, so I tried setting up. I did set up an account. I have an account. I was watching their own fucking video on how you upload a video. And then at the end, once you uploaded it and you put the title in and the thumbnail for it and you do a little description and all that stuff, there's all of a sudden 4 choices. 4 choices on the type of license for that particular video. 3 of those choices involve giving Rumble at least some control of your video and what they can do with the video and whether they can monetize your video or not, whether you make any money off of that or not, doesn't matter, I guess. Or the percentage, it doesn't mention a percentage there. Only one wouldn't allow them any kind of control in terms of monetizing or usage, and I'll explain that in a second too. But they said it might take up to 48 hours per video to upload. You choose that one. Now, the one that'll get it right up there for them, and that is, I forget the name of it, but if you click on that one, the first one on the left-hand side, they tell you Rumble owns all rights to your video. They can do whatever they want to with it. They can market it. They can use it, sell a clip from it to some commercial someplace or some company someplace, and they can use that. They can do whatever they want with it, and they get the vast majority of the fucking royalties for it, or income from it, whatever the thing is. And there's 4 different levels basically discussing just how much of Rumble owns your fucking shit just because they have a fucking platform to put it on. And I said, no thanks.
Oh, well, you know, the reason we're talking about this is you're still in the middle of your 2-week suspension on YouTube.
After the same video,
right,
I won the appeal on that video. And they said, yeah, it doesn't violate our community guidelines. The next morning, we had to remove a video because it violated our community guidelines. It was the same video.
So because they did this twice, so the 2-week suspension will expire when, next Monday or Tuesday, Monday or so, something like that. I think the original one was Saturday.
Last time I looked at it, it was up to, I think, 7 days. Maybe that was day before yesterday that I had been in this suspension period. So who knows? I don't really believe.
Next week is when it's supposed
I don't really believe that I'll have, because the last 2 times that I've lost channels on is it 2? It's 2. The last 2 times I lost channels on YouTube, when I got my second strike, they hurriedly give me that third strike right before the second strike time is over, and you got the third strike. That's it. You no longer have a channel.
I had 2 strikes at one time.
Right.
And I just did nothing for yeah.
So yeah, that's why I was looking at Rumble and looking at other.
Rockfin, there's another one. That's another one. Rockfin. Yeah.
Rockfin. Well, Rockfin.
I don't know how that works.
They're all. The reason I want to talk about that is this, not because of my situation, but because this is like a large version of something that was happening. There was a trend in the earlier days, not the early days, but the earlier days when after people started making real money on YouTube, and not YouTube bucks, but real money on YouTube. And the vast majority of the big content creators were game channels. These were people who would play a video game and then record it and then take the content they have, and they're sitting up all fucking night doing this and into the next day, and maybe they put out 1 or 2 videos a week, maybe. But they have to do the editing, and then they have to figure out a through line for it, and they've got to write a script for the voiceovers, and they got to lay all that in there. And it takes real fucking skill. And some of those skilled people eventually developed real talent for it. And so it became a real art form.
Oh, yeah.
And they were making, but there were so many of them out there. And they were such a lucrative thing. These networks developed. Now, you can stop me whenever you start to make the connection between these networks and the networks that the alt community have created, like Max Blumenthal's, because it's a very similar thing. These networks would approach big time fucking, almost big time guys and girls, creators, and they would sign them on, and they would make them sign contracts. And the contract would stipulate just how much control the network would have of their material. Right? Very much the same way that Rumble is doing.
Right.
And in the end, you had all these really good content creators. I mean, really creative people who put a lot of work into it and learned a new craft and learned how to edit and played the games and had fun, but were also able to know what was going to be marketable to a big audience, or whatever their specific unique audience was. There was work that went into this. It wasn't just some dumbass like me sitting in a thing, pushing play and then pushing record and then pushing stop. These guys were actually really good, and women were very good at what they did. These fucking networks would take advantage of them, would use them They would generate, once they had signed the contract, the networks would then promote the hell out of their stuff, get them to network with other big people already in the network. That would give them fucking visibility. And then, because the network was making so much money, they were working with YouTube on the backside. And they were telling YouTube what to promote on the front page. So they were making tons of money. The only problem was, because of the contracts they signed, the content creators were getting dick. Were getting nothing. And they were putting out more work and better work faster. They were turned into fucking wage slaves by these fucking networks that were supposedly helping them out, but they were just using them. And so I hate to say that this is what Rumble looks like from just one fucking effort. Maybe they have a much better, more equitable division of fucking resources or the money or the revenues. But I'm not sure I believe anybody who comes along to me and says, "Oh yeah, they only take 5%." Bullshit, they take 5%. Bullshit, they take 5%. Plus, you have no control on 2 of the 4 levels of licensing per video. You have absolutely no control of what they do with the fucking video.
Yeah.
They can do anything. They can be playing it in China. They can be playing it. They could be playing it in China. They could be playing it in Norway. You would never fucking know. And if they're getting revenue for that on a stream in fucking China or in fucking Norway, they're making that money. You're not. So I said no.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
It just reminds me of the stuff that these young, talented people were doing back in the day. And someone had the bright idea, hey, we can give them a network, build them up, and we get a good cut off the fucking top. And they just got greedier and greedier and greedier. I mean, I don't know the people at Rumble, but it just sounds too much like that for me to get involved in it.
I wonder how Rockfin is, how that works. That's another one. So everybody think, yeah, Rockfin, they have this subscription where you can have access to everything. People can pay a monthly subscription, but you can put content on there that's free. People can just watch it without a subscription. I know there's that option. I haven't looked at Rockfin in a long time, but I remember that.
Right.
So I don't know.
I'll look at Rockfin. I don't know. I'll look at Rockfin. I'd like to get to a point where I can just put my own fucking videos on my own fucking website.
Yes.
Or
can you on Substack? I guess they have a podcast thing option or something. I don't know.
They have a podcast option, but I don't know if they do video.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'll have to look into that. Okay, so there's our Rumble thing. Now, let's talk about your favorite.
So there's no real alternative.
I'm sure there is. Right now I'm at BitChute, and BitChute's not doing that to me. They're just letting me put my stuff up there, and that's all there is to it, just like YouTube used to. I just think that when there's censorship, and all of a sudden there's a need for an uncensored place for people to go that might actually help us network my stuff and get me more attention, then unfortunately there will be unscrupulous people out there who look to take advantage of the situation. Just like, there's a whole bunch of YouTubers who were making really good content, and there was so many of them, there was no way to stand out. And someone popped up and said, hey, I'll make a network and we'll all work together and you guys will all make better money. I just feel like that's unfortunately what might be happening with Rumble.
Yeah. Hey, and let's not forget who the most censored man, censored man on YouTube is.
Jackson Hinkle.
That's right. That's right.
I saw him. What's his face? I saw Tim Pool, Beanie Boy. I saw Beanie Boy bitching about he put some video up, and there was something in it, and they said, okay, well, we're gonna keep the little kiddies from seeing this video. And Tim Pool was so upset, and they said we can't monetize this video, and he was so mad. Dude is still monetized on fucking YouTube. I mean, he's a real truth teller. Still monetized on fucking YouTube. And he was mad because one fucking video was not gonna be monetized, and it was gonna cost him how many thousands of dollars that fucking beanie boy idiot makes for a fucking one video. Unbelievable.
So Jackson Hinkle, because I guess they demonetized his channel, YouTube. So he thinks, oh my gosh, I'm the most censored man on YouTube. I don't know if he's a man. I don't know if I would call him a man.
Well, now, since you brought up Jackson, I guess the next thing for us to talk about are MAGA commies.
Yeah, so I didn't know this. I didn't know anything about Jackson Hinkle until, the last few months, couple months, I don't know. And then somebody told me, it was Luca Clemente on Twitter said, oh yeah, he's a patriotic pro-Stalin communist. I'm going, what?
Was that before or after the videos that I did showing that fucking, showing what's his face? He got canceled for a little while. What was his fucking name?
Caleb Malcolm?
Come on. Huh?
Caleb Malcolm?
Yeah. And his
no, that's before that. Before that, before Caleb's scandal.
Really?
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck is he doing? There's Jackson Hinkle at the commie fucking rally with Caleb Mop, and I was like, what? Come on, man. I didn't realize he was doing that. That's funny.
And then I looked at so when Luca said that, I looked at Jackson Hinkle's channel on YouTube. I'm going, I don't see anything pro-Stalin communist there. I said it just looks like corporate Democrat stuff or something.
Oh, but he's going to rally. They're going to save the world by rallying the MAGA guys who blamed the Chi-Coms for so long about this. And he's hooking up with the phony fucking commies and the LARPers from the Caleb Marpet set, and those guys are gonna fucking.
That's the LaRouche. I don't know.
Those guys are gonna change the fucking world.
Oh yeah. So husband Jake said, "Make communism great again."
We should make the hats. We should make hats for that. Make the commies great again.
Communism great again.
Make the red menace great again. It would make communism great again, and it won't be a red hat. It'll be a white hat with a red menace on it. That's my dog.
But Jackson Hinkle, I dig. You talked a lot about him, but I looked into his background. He's just a Democrat. He was with like the Democratic Socialists of America, which is just a DNC front. And so he was hanging out with Tulsi Gabbard, and he was promoting the climate change stuff. He was an activist. And
he was promoting the fucking vaccines up until January of this year. He was talking about anti-vaxxers like they were fucking scum of the earth.
Yeah, so
and that was in January of 2022.
And he was with that March for Your Lives, the anti-gun group or whatever, David Hogg's group. He was with that. What else? So he was just a corporate Democrat, and he ran as a Democrat. Yeah, he ran for office as that.
He's a grifter.
Yeah, he is.
He came right out and said, everything I do is for the fucking clout. Everything I ever do is for the clout. Talking about, this isn't about Jackson Hinkle, but I mean, the MAGA commies. That's just the funniest fucking thing.
I know it is.
That's just the funniest thing.
It is.
Yeah. And the whole purpose of their thing is we've got to unite. As if people weren't talking about that in 2016. As if that wasn't something that people talked about. And I know Jackson wasn't talking about that in 2016. He was pushing fucking Hillary Clinton. So I know it's a new concept to him, But it's not a new concept to anybody else. Fuck, Donald Trump said it on a stump speech in late 2015, saying, don't laugh about Bernie Sanders and his people. He said they pretty much believe in the same fucking thing we believe in. They're populist on the left, we're populist on the right.
Yeah, they did this in 2017 too, where so they were trying to get, like Caitlin Johnson was saying, the left and the right have to come together and unite against the deep state. But really what it's all about is shifting the left
further
over the
right.
To the right.
Yeah.
And that's what Jackson Hinkle does by appearing on Tucker Carlson's show.
Yes.
And obsessing about, the Democrats are so terrible and everything. It's like, okay, I got it. Yeah.
Well, remember, he told you, everything he does is for the fucking clout. It's just for the money and the attention, that's all. So there's the MAGA commies.
Yeah, so he's part of that Max Blumenthal network too.
Yes, he is.
Yes.
Which is
they all come together. They all come together.
You told me before we were talking about something, and you said, and you mentioned this woman, or this young woman, who came up out of nowhere. And that's how it happens with these networks. They'll find somebody young, attractive looking, who's already got a small, and this is the same shit they did. The gaming fucking groomers did. The gaming fucking networks did. They go find young people, new people, undiscovered people, and say, hey, you can be part of this, and blah, 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 blah. Just sign the contract. So I'd like to see what kind of contract Max Blumenthal is getting his people to fucking sign. I would love to see that.
I can't keep up with the new ones, the new Max Blumenthal Muppets that appear out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And they're suddenly journalists. We're journalists. Okay, great.
And they're getting the what's the Sharona Sim Awards? What is that?
Serena, yes, I can believe Jackson Hinkle was given the Serena Shim Award.
For what?
That's why I call it the Serena Sham Award.
For what? What has he done? It's just a way of paying these people. It's a legitimate way of paying, of sending fucking cash to them through a legitimate source that probably doesn't get taxed because it's a fucking NGO or something like that. And it's a credential for them. They got this. They've got this stuff worked out. They really do. They've got this stuff worked out to a fucking T. You keep telling people the truth, and you'll have 15 fucking subs for the rest of your life. And if you ever get more than 2,000 on YouTube, they'll kick you off, and you can start over again. Or you can join the fucking crew, and you can get Serena Sham Awards out the yin yang. That's what. And for what? What journalism has Jackson Hinkle done?
Well, he reminds me, Richard Medhurst, that guy. Guy with young guy. He was just like a failed hip hop artist or something.
He popped
and
up.
His dad is British intelligence. Hello.
His dad is British intelligence. He pops up wearing the fucking Palestinian scarf.
Yeah.
That was his brand for a while until someone mentioned it looked like a fucking, just wearing it to leech off of the Palestinian cause, and so he stopped wearing it all the time. Who was it that said that? Oh yeah, that was me.
But he's got a show on Press TV, and they're on RT. Like, they instantly get a show on these. There's another one. There's this young woman. I laugh at her profile picture now. Was it Isabella Fiorella or something?
Fiorella, yeah.
Yeah, she's another one. She's got a show on RT.
Wasn't she dating?
And I laugh at her. Guys? Oh, I don't know her story. Oh, was she? Her Twitter page, her Twitter account was banned, and then instantly, miraculously, it was restored. But her profile picture, I laugh at her profile picture, and it's always the cleavage. And she's posing in her profile picture on Twitter now. And she's like this with this low cut thing. She's posing. You gotta look at it. It's just stupid. It's so dumb.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
And they're going to save the world with the MAGA communists. Okay, that's awesome. So let's move on from that. We have a story that I'm certainly sympathetic to, and that is the Gays Against Groomers group getting kicked off of PayPal and Venmo. And I'm not sympathetic because of their gayness, even though I don't really care, but I'm sympathetic because I was kicked off both venues in 2018, 4 fucking years ago. Now, Tucker Carlson didn't ask me to come on, but he did have the head of the Gays Against Groomers organization on to talk about what that situation was. And she did bring up something that hadn't dawned on me, and that was she's gay, her whole group is gay, and what they are opposed to is sexualizing children and the normalization of the sexualization of children in places like schools and these libraries that have trans
the drag
story day, drag queen days, whatever. And of course, dressing them up. And now, obviously, these fucking assholes who take their 6-year-olds for sexual reassignment surgery or some shit, whatever the fuck they do to these kids now. So these are gay people who are opposed to that, and they're getting sick of that. And she has an organization. And of course, no, PayPal and fucking Venmo say, you can't collect money for your organization doing this, because apparently they're all about sexualizing fucking children. And you had mentioned somebody in Serbia?
Yeah, so I have a relatively new contact. She's been aware of me for some time, and I've been communicating with her. She's in Serbia, so she's she's bisexual, lesbian, or whatever. And I've learned a lot from her that, homosexual, the gays and lesbians and bisexual, they're just sick of being lumped together with this trans agenda, and they're getting stigmatized and experiencing violence. They're caught in the middle. So there've been homosexuals and lesbians and bisexuals for ages. Yeah, fine. But they're caught in this corporate trans agenda, the sexualizing of children and all this nonsense, and they're tired of it. And they get the backlash from both sides. So it's a terrible situation. And in Serbia, they just there was a pride event that got canceled, and because of pressure from the EU, Serbia is not an EU member. From pressure from the EU, the pride event, with the support of the U.S. ambassador there, they went ahead, and so the cops kind of cordoned off an area, and there was violence against the cops from these extreme right-wing groups that are opposed to, it's so I saw it. It's just another way of destabilizing Serbia, which has already suffered so much. The breakup of Yugoslavia and the wars that resulted after that, and the bombing of Serbia, NATO's bombing. And it's just terrible. So, yeah, I was not aware that within what I call the alphabet soup brigade, there's a hashtag drop the T from the LGBT. Because the regular gays and lesbians and bisexuals are sick of this corporate agenda, and they're getting stigmatized.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to fathom exactly what is behind all of this. People speculate that the plan is to normalize homosexuality so much, and even it's almost to the point where when I went to school, there were gay kids, but they were the exception, not the rule. It's almost as if they're trying to make it so that in order for kids to feel like they are part or they are included, that they have to become gay. They have to either act like they're gay or pursue whatever in an effort to transform as many heterosexual kids into gay kids. Because if you're talking about a population reducing agenda, that's certainly one way to do it. I don't know if
It's
it
very
goes that far.
anti-feminist. So there are feminists, traditional feminists, who are opposed to this because, you know, it's destroying, you know, you look at women's sports, what's going on there. So there are men, yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm talking about, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so she's a feminist. And so there are feminists in the West that are saying, this is, we oppose this because this is like, you know, men who are just calling themselves women and taking over feminism, you know.
taking over women's sports, not feminism.
Right.
But I mean,
women's rights are losing because of this whole corporate,
right.
You know? Yeah.
And that goes into the whole debate as to whether or not there's 16 fucking genders, or whether there's not an actual difference between male anatomy and genetics and female anatomy and genetics. And obviously there are differences. I mean, that's just that's the ultimate expression of the empowerment zone. But I was speaking more specifically about children and about what this agenda and what this group, Gays Against Groomers, is why they are being. They've been working for several years now, I believe, in collecting money, and all of a sudden, PayPal and fucking Venmo say, nope, we're going to snatch your fucking funding and hopefully choke you out. The next step would be for their banks to do the same thing to them, and hopefully that doesn't happen. But if it comes from on high enough, that certainly is a possibility. And they have a very good, valid point. And from what I understood from her was, they don't want to be stigmatized being homosexual or being lesbian or whatever, or bi, for this kind of behavior. I don't know if it's, and I'm sure there are some trans people, case in point, Jenner, who is now
Caitlyn Jenner.
Jenner. Yeah. She has been opposed to having trans in men in or women in, whatever that works out, in women's sports since they've been doing it. Yeah. So I'm sure there are many, and she said, the woman on Tucker Carlson's thing said, there are trans people in their organization. So they don't want this behavior to be stigmatized with this behavior because, like you said earlier, that just breeds hatred of of everybody in the LGBTQ community. And I think they have a very good, valid point. But when you look at it, maybe that is the point. Maybe that's why they're doing this shit. I mean, I don't know. This is just so goddamn bizarre.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, strange stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's even beyond that fucking dude with the size 900D fucking fake titties walking around, putting them in young boys' faces in class. There was years ago, as this was starting to develop, this in South Park, there was this teacher, and the teacher, and he's gay, and he brings in Mr. Hand, whatever the guy's, not Mr. Hand, but his buddy, who's gay, and Mr. Slave. He's always dressed up as a slave. And they're trying to get fired. And this was 4 years ago. They're trying to get fired. So they do all this weird fucking gay stuff in front of the kids. And the kids in South Park are like, oh, thinking they're going to get fired. But then the school nominates them for a Courage Award. Oh, it's so courageous. And it's like, what are you doing? I'm doing butt sex and sticking hamsters up my ass, Mr. Slave's ass, in front of your children in school, and you're giving me a goddamn award for it? That was 4 fucking years ago. That was 4 years ago. So maybe even longer. So this has been going on for a while, but I don't. All right, my heart goes out to the people in this organization, Gays Against Groomers. I think they're doing the right thing. Their hearts are in the right places. And if they can find other ways to get funding and financing, I certainly hope people find them, search them out, and help them out with their project, because I think it's important, and it's certainly valid. And I would also like to mention, it's probably the only time someone who was openly gay was on Tucker Carlson's show.
I know we were joking about that, and I said, well, Tucker, you just don't know.
You never know.
He does laugh like a girl.
He does. He does. He does have some qualities. We don't have a whole lot of time. We got about maybe 14 minutes. We're going to talk about the World Economic Forum white paper, but I covered that in my previous videos, so we don't really need to.
I don't think that video is safe for YouTube.
I don't
know. What do you think?
I don't think it is. Yeah. And then Ukraine, we could do that, but I covered Ukraine today, and I think I did basically as good a job as I could possibly do on that. I guess we have to just discuss now what's going on with the transition for Canada in terms of the mandates and all that.
So all the COVID travel restrictions are falling apart and will be gone by the end of September, it looks like.
Yay.
Well, the interesting thing is somebody was asking, and I'm wondering too about this, the U.S. technically still has the vaccination requirement for foreign visitors. So somebody was asking, and we don't know yet. It's been mentioned, is the U.S. going to drop its vaccine mandate for foreign visitors too at the same time? So I don't know about that.
Well, here's the thing about that. My guess is no. And the reason my guess is no is because even though Canada does get a number of tourists coming into Canada in terms of tourism or business or whatever, it's probably a small percentage compared to what the United States has. And of course, the United States, they're not allowing the other non-mRNA vaccines, and they may have even said you can't do the Johnson & Johnson one now to come in. They might be saying you have to get the mRNA vaccines no matter what to come into here. And so it's not just having an effect on people in the United States in terms of maintaining that particular mandate, but it's forcing people overseas. And we have a lot of people coming in for business or tourism into the United States. So it's forcing a lot of people to get those mRNA shots, which are a big agenda item in DC, in the hallowed halls and the back rooms of DC. So it might be
the thing that once these restrictions, including the ArriveCan app or ArriveCan website, whatever, when that gets dropped, so I will cross the border, because I used to be able to just cross,
right,
for the day, go to lunch or something with a friend or something. Right. So I'm going to test that, I'm going to do that. But as far as Jake, I'm going to see, I have been told that if you're driving across the border, the vaccine mandate is not necessarily being enforced. They're not necessarily asking for proof. So I'm going to just sort of ask at the border. I don't have a problem entering because I'm a citizen, but I'm going to ask, for my husband, Jake.
Right.
Would he, I'm going to ask, do you require proof of vaccination for foreign visitors? So I'm going to sort of feel that out, see how that works. I've heard they're not enforcing it when you just drive across the border, but I don't know.
Start off with, are you requiring vaccinations to come across?
Proof.
And then,
vaccination and proof.
And then if they say yes, which they probably will, then you say, okay, well, what kind of proof do you need?
Right.
Now, if he just lies, if they say, have you been vaccinated? It's like, when someone says, I ask you, are you a god? The answer is yes. So, the answer is yes, I've been vaccinated. And you can take that from the Aaron Rodgers School of Public Relations.
I have heard that the mask mandate might not be dropped, or at least right away. They might keep that on the flights in Canada until
I thought that was already gone.
No, that's in the U.S. that the mask mandate
Oh,
is going.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
ridiculous.
I
That's
know
fucking
it's stupid.
ridiculous. That's idiotic. Could you imagine if you had to fly with your like 2-year-old kid and you had to put a mask on your 2-year-old kid for a 4-hour flight? How fucking awful is that?
Well, I had to do in 2020. They had the mask thing, so people were just kind of constantly eating or drinking, or you know.
Right, right, right. Smoking crack, smoking crystal meth.
But it is.
I
It
can't
is.
put the mask on because I got to hit my meth pipe. That's Hunter Biden taking a.
Oh, well, you know what's stupid is I've seen on Twitter people are still saying, "Oh, I'm gonna defy the ArriveCan app, and I'm gonna make a video of myself." And I go, "What is the point? They're
Right,
dropping it. They're
right,
dropping it. It's
right.
like, look at me, I'm a rebel." It's like,
Yeah.
what the heck? Stupid.
I'm kind of surprised. We're creeping up on October. I'm waiting for the October surprise, so to speak. I'm kind of surprised that we're getting further and further away from all of these mandates. I'm happy, I mean, I'm in Florida, so we've been out for a little while, but I mean, I'm happy, but I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop. I'm waiting for that other thing. And I think they were trying with the fucking with the monkeypox. Did they ever change the name of that goddamn thing? Because it just sounds so bad. It just sounds so bad. The monkeypox.
Well, the ArriveCan app, I've seen discussions on Twitter. There's a known traveler digital ID they're going to then have to replace it. And it will include your health information or whatever.
Mhm.
So I've seen people saying, oh, well, yeah, the ArriveCan app will transition into this known traveler digital ID.
Mhm.
And the ArriveCan app isn't actually going away. They're going to still allow it if people want to use it for their normal customs declaration.
Right.
And the other thing about these travel restrictions and the ArriveCan app being dropped is the border guard union was telling the federal government get rid of it because the border guards they don't have the time to do that and their normal customs duties.
Yeah.
And I noticed that when I crossed the border, there were no questions about customs. It was just all COVID and vaccines, and it was all COVID.
Do you have your proof of vaccination card? I think it's under the pile of fucking cocaine kilos. Don't worry about it. Go right ahead. Okay, thank you. I'm out.
But that
I
was
got
that
the
you didn't hear too much. It was the union that was really pushing too,
yeah,
to get rid of it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I'm thinking maybe that's why the border guards were in such a bad mood. I don't
They
know.
must not have liked having to do that shit. I mean, they must
No.
have hated it. And then everyone's got a fucking attitude against them for it, as if they're the ones who came up with the fucking shit. As if they're the fucking Nazi fucking guards who are pushing them onto a fucking cattle car to send them off to a concentration camp. Dude, you're getting into a fucking plane and you're flying someplace. You're going to go first class and you're going to fly and stay at a first class hotel. What are you talking about? But that's what people are very upset about that. And people are tired of it. And I know Canadians are, because you guys are, I mean, fucking Trudeau is clinging onto that fucking ship like it's a lifeboat or something, a World Economic Forum lifeboat, and he's out there floundering around without him. He's just waiting. That's what I'm saying. That's my point. That's what I'm waiting for. That's the other shoe, because someone like Trudeau and all of these people who were doing this fucking shit, who were thriving on hating the fucking unvaccinated. And there were a lot of them. And somebody was talking about that. Maybe you in a DM today was talking about that. How people they've got to be missing that element of their lives where they were fighting the good fight against the fucking evil, selfish people like ourselves. And they were able to feel morally superior, and now they're back to just being an average person, Karen, whatever, on the suburb, in the cul-de-sac, and they've got to hate it. You know, they're
Yeah.
yearning. They're yearning for another goddamn pandemic. You
Yeah,
know,
it's got to be weird for them. They did the vaccines and boosters, and now it doesn't matter. And like, there's us, and we didn't do the vaccines and boosters, and that must be weird, you
I
know.
talked about that years ago, didn't I? I was saying, what's going to happen with all these people when all of these fucking things turn out to be okay? You were taken advantage of. They lied to you. All of a sudden, the unvaxxed didn't all die last fucking December like fucking President Biden promised we would. And in fact, turns out we get sick less often from the fucking Rona than the people who were vaxxed. So how are they going to feel? Plus, they don't have the plot armor. They don't have the fucking we're holier than thou feeling anymore. Now they just feel duped. And I said, was it a year ago I did this video? I said, those people are going to be problematic. The ones who were really into it, the ones who were screaming at their neighbors in a shopping center for not wearing a fucking mask or putting a mask on their kid. I mean, screaming at them. We've seen tons of videos of this. Those people will become problematic.
Well, remember I told you, so after the Russian military operation in Ukraine started, I talked to my cousin in early March, and we had gotten along on the COVID thing. We disagreed. He had gotten the double doses. He'd gotten a booster. Even after he said, no, I'm not a pincushion, he got the booster, Moderna, all Moderna. And, the masking, he would mask up all the time. And it was interesting. When I was around him, he would relax. He would see I wasn't afraid. And he flipped out on me over Russia and Ukraine. And you said that it might be actually he flipped out because he realized maybe he was wrong about COVID.
Yeah.
And it wasn't necessarily about Russia. So he didn't want to be wrong about Russia too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that could be.
And it was a proxy. He was able to take out his frustrations from one place.
Yeah, maybe.
And be right on this. And that's what scares me about the next, when the shoe drops and the next one comes. Because the ones who are sitting around now and they're fucking fretting, they're pissed off, they're angry, they're still making their kids walk around the house with a fucking mask on. Those people, the next pandemic bullshit they come up with, they will be all in on it. They'll be full brown shirts. Because of what you would think that they would learn their lesson from the last one, but they won't be, because they were so invested in it, emotionally invested in it, psychologically invested in it. Their fucking morals were built around it.
Yeah, they were COVID prepped, like what you said in the, I don't know, it's a video today. It prepped us. And on Twitter, I was saying, back in 2019, I was thinking, okay, climate change is going to be the next big agenda.
Yeah.
Well, it is an agenda, but they had to prep us with COVID and the pandemic. Yeah.
Yes.
So that prepared us for the next big agenda. Yeah. They couldn't go straight into the climate change emergency or whatever.
I don't think they had enough in terms of natural disasters or forest fires. It wasn't in terms of the season, which is usually the season. This season is usually the season, at least in the U.S. and Canada, where the bad weather happens and it's warm and then it's cooling off. It just wasn't as bad. It wasn't as extreme as I would have liked to have seen. Back in the day, people were like, Scott, you got to get into this. That they use hurricanes as fucking weapons, and they can weaponize hurricanes. Listen, if they could have weaponized hurricanes, Cuba would be fucking flat by now. So would Nicaragua, so would Venezuela. So obviously, and that was my argument then. Now, the biggest agenda they've had ever to make their transition is climate change. And if they had weapons, if they could weaponize hurricanes and direct hurricanes into Florida or the East Coast of the United States to bring about that transition, You know damn well they would have. You know damn well they would have. Now they're talking about, oh, there's a hurricane. It's in the middle of the Atlantic. It's way
Yeah,
on the other
it
side.
is so strange. It's been so quiet this year in hurricane season.
Right. I live in Florida. I'm happy, knock on wood.
Yeah, I know.
Let's say that, but
Yeah.
we get 15 in the next 2 weeks. So I'm happy, but it's got to be that. I mean, they're just not getting the assistance from somewhere, I guess. Maybe God's just not big on the fucking World Economic Forum. He's like, nope. Pushing the next button. Every time a fucking hurricane starts up, it goes, nope, nope, nope.
That's funny.
We ain't bringing them fucking Nazis back. Nope, nope.
God is a commie.
God is a commie.
What it's like Jesus is a socialist. God is a commie.
That's why he had to whack him out. He wasn't commie enough. So, oh, goddamn it, I ain't taking that socialist shit. That's half measure. Nope.
I like that.
Here's 30 pieces of silver. Nope.
Make God communist again.
Oh my God, we're delving into bad stuff now. But I certainly hope that I'm wrong, but I just get this sense. The economy, of course, they're crippling the economy, so they're making ready for something there. But I just get this sense. There's another one. We have the monkeypox that didn't work out. So
I was really anxious. So like August, September, August. I was anxious because that's when they were always announcing the restrictions for the fall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
so there are lots of shortages here because of COVID.
I certainly hope that you and Jake are able to get across the fucking border and maybe take yourself a trip down Cali or down the Pacific Coast Highway and just stop and check it out and look at the fucking weather and look at the beautiful surroundings before they put like monitors on your car and say you can't fucking drive but 15 miles a week.
Yeah, no kidding.
So I certainly hope you can do that before that happens.
Yeah, I'm heading across the border next month. I know that.
You're gonna see your friend over there? You're gonna see your friend over there?
Yeah, I'm gonna try. Also, I haven't been able to reach my older friend Gerta, so I don't know if she's still around. If she's still alive and kicking. I don't know what's going. I think I tried to reach her back in July or something. I think. So I don't know what's going on.
Okay. So when do you stop? When's the mourning process over?
It never ends.
It never ends. You have to mourn the great queen forever. Tell people the history of the veil so they know where it comes from.
Oh, well, it's not a veil. I got it at Busch Gardens. It's just it's like a little summer dress or something.
Is it a dress?
It's just a thing, a cover up for a swimsuit or something. That's all.
I got you.
But it makes a great veil.
It did. I was convinced.
It would have fitted the Hallow Scream at Busch Gardens. Hallow Scream.
Yeah. That would work. With the glasses on the outside, that would work.
It's kind of like the Cousin It thing or something. Didn't Cousin It have glasses?
He just had hair.
I know his hair. A veil of hair.
Mm-hmm. Cousin It. People don't remember Cousin It. He's gone. All right. Well, we're at 1 hour and 4 minutes, so maybe we should wrap this up.
That's good.
Yep. You gonna put this up right off the bat on yours?
Yeah. I'll put it up right away.
Well, I'm gonna put this up on my BitChute tomorrow morning, so I'm gonna make a video tomorrow morning. I'm lazy. I'm just lazy. I'm a lazy socialist. Okay.
So I hope you can make it back onto YouTube. But so what I do on YouTube is I post. It seems like 1 out of 3 of your videos is safe for YouTube now. So what I do, I put the safe one on YouTube, and I put the link to the too hot for YouTube.
Too hot one
in the show notes. In the show notes.
I appreciate you doing that, by the way. Yeah, don't get. What is this? Okay, hi. You want to say hi?
Hi, Bo. And there he is.
Huh? The camera's kind of screwed up.
Well, you know, the animals disappeared from your videos for a couple of the videos, and you had been talking about people eating their pets. I was wondering what happened to that. I'm going, are you trying to tell us something? You kept saying people are eating their pets.
You'll just notice I've got stuffed cats, stuffed dogs sitting around, and I'm getting progressively fatter. Oh, Jesus. All right, Bo. Hi. You want to go outside? Is that it? Had to think about it for a second. All right, calm down. Okay, I'm going to end the video here, and I thank you for tuning in. I certainly hope I'll fix this later. I shouldn't have messed with that. Good enough. Thank you very much. Nice talking to you, Aunt BB.
Nice talking to you, Scott.
As always, Bo says bye. Can you see him?
No. There I see him now.
You part
What
of
is
it?
that? Oh, is that the what is that? What is that?
It's the skin of a toy. That's what he does to all his toys. He just shreds them.
I know.
That's what he is. That's what he does. Oh, wait a minute. Here you go.
Oh, yeah. Stuffing. The stuffing.
He eats all
I hope he's learned not to eat the stuffing now.
He doesn't eat it. That's why it's here in my hand. He doesn't eat it.
But as a puppy, I think he was eating it, unfortunately, or something.
Yeah. All right, so we are done. Okay. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you very much. Say bye-bye, Aunt BB.
Bye.
Bye, and thanks a lot, people.
Thanks.
Hang on a second.